Hallo ihr lieben Menschen da draußen, ich bin's wieder, eure Germaid Charlotte und ihr seid beim Online-Kongress Die Freie Tochter. Ich bin heute ganz bewegt und freue mich auf ein wunderbares Interview mit einer Frau, mit der ich schon seit vielen Jahren selbst persönlich gehen darf und die mich schon sehr, sehr inspiriert hat auf meinem eigenen Weg. Und hierfür möchte ich ins Englische wechseln und ich werde sie vorstellen auf Englisch, denn sie kommt aus Kalifornien, United States of America. So she is quantum shamanic healer. She's the founder of Sacred Female Rising Institute, which is a platform, which is an institute to integrate female values in our society. She is supporting women to rise in their sacred and spiritual femininity. She's doing ceremonies on our land of Germany to cleanse this land also from past traumas such as wars and witch hunts. She calls herself a spiritual midwife for a new consciousness that wants to be born right now on this planet. She's medicine woman from United States of America, from California, and she's English. Her mother is English, and she has a father. He is Black Indian, African American, and Cherokee and Blackfoot Indian roots. Her upcoming book is called Sacredize Your Life, the Ancient Art of Ceremony Meet Contemporary Science of the Quantum Age. And she says the sacred female is an energy or a resonance field that is currently rising on our earth. It is the Great Mother, the deep feminine, in both female and male, and it has the potential to heal our world. I am very happy and I'm very glad to welcome my dear teacher, shaman, and my dear sister, MiraMichelle. Welcome, Mira.
Thank you. Thank you. And I bow towards you all, to my sister Germaid Ponge, and to all of you sisters that are here now with us. I bow to your great intelligence, your great wisdom, and I thank you for your work in consciousness. And may I say it? Well, you're here to say something.
That was the plan.
That was the plan. May I say that, Germaid, thank you. I feel so proud of you and how you are expanding your energy field, your resonance, and bringing such a very important topic into our fields, into our lives. So thank you.
Yes.
Hey.
Yeah.
I would love to begin by honoring the ancestors, all of our ancestors who are indigenous to planet Earth, and to begin with a short song with the drum,
Yes.
if I may. Okay, so for this moment, I'm going to take these out. So we can actually then hear the drum. This song is a Native American, very old medicine song, and it honors women, and it honors all women on our planet, all females, animals, insects, what you like. And I have permission to sing this song from one of my teachers, Whirlwind Eagle Wolf, who is a Yaqui Lipan Apache. So in honoring him and all our ancestors, my Native American, sisters and brothers, my African sisters and brothers, and my English Irish ancestors, my Celtic ancestors. So I ask you women to feel into all of your female ancestors. Close your eyes. Wait. Just be here now with Mira and Germaid. Wait. Inan tonan siklan. Inan tonan siklan. For all women. Inan tonan si. Inan tonan siklan. Inan tonan sidlan. For all girls. Inan tonan sidlan. For the grandmothers. Inan tonan si. Inan tonan sidlan. The power of birth. Well away, hi, well away, hi, oh, well away, hi, well away, hi, oh, well away, hi, well away, hi, oh. Well away, hi, well away, hi, oh. Way, hey, ane, away, hey, ane, away, hey, ane, hey, hi, oh. Way, hey, ane, away, hey, ane, away, hey, ane, hey, hi, oh. Well away, hi, well away, 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 hi, oh. Inan tunan siklan for life. Inan tunan siklan. Inan tunan si. Inan tunan siklan. Inan tunan siklan. For the innocence. Inan tonan siklan. For all of our sisters. Inan tonan si. Inan tonan siklan. Ahe.
Ahe.
We'd like to send this living prayer and the medicine of the song here and now to all of our sisters on this planet that are rising up, that are having so much courage and using their great intelligence and their great wisdom to make life better for all creatures on this planet and all sentient beings. I thank you, sisters, so much. Thank you. Blessings. Okay.
Okay. Thank you very much for this song.
You're welcome. Thank the ancestors for keeping that song alive.
Yes.
Sing it today. Okay, I'm plugging it in.
Yeah.
All right.
Our ancestors are here right now with us.
That's it.
And working through us. Yes. And it's always good to honor them and remember that we are from their blood and their life. Yeah.
That's it.
And that's also why I open up the space for this topic, mothers and daughters. Mothers and daughters, not only, that's something all about womanhood. And a big part of womanhood is the female solidarity, how we go together, how we live as women together, how can we sit in circles together and look into each other's eyes as women. And I would like to ask you to talk about female solidarity first, and where do we come from? What did our mothers or grandmothers maybe, how did they influence us? What did they bring with us? What does our ancestral line tell us about it? What can we learn now to live female solidarity on this planet?
That's a big question.
Step by step, I will just go wherever you feel.
Okay. Female solidarity is part of our root as women. We have and always have had a very deep and a very profound female solidarity on this planet. It is always there. It will always be there. What we have been experiencing now for the last, specifically, couple of 100 years since the Industrial Revolution, is we've had layers due to our program that have not allowed us to be as connected to that female solidarity as we have had in the past. So now we're beginning to remember and beginning to recognize, not only intellectually, but vibrationally, that female solidarity is part of our root, right? So it sort of goes beyond the mind. It is something that's ever present. And now we're beginning to move back into that vibration. And that is so essential. That is so very essential for our health and well-being as women. We know that modern day science has told us that how women who have strong circles live 8 years longer. There are these sort of scientific studies that basically prove that on different levels. But we don't necessarily have to have that proof because we feel it here. We feel it in our hearts and in our resonance. But it's also nice to have that scientific, little tick of approval for what we are already deeply a part of. So the female solidarity is being reactivated, let us say, through the circle work that has grown incredibly over the last 10 or 15 years on our planet. That's also something that is part of our root vibrational experience, of course. But now it's like, let us say, it's blossoming like the beautiful spring weather I see outside of my window, the beautiful blossoms coming on the tree. So that would be the first part. I would share my wisdom with all of you sisters, is that it is there, it has always been there, and now we begin to reactivate that. Now, if we, you mentioned the word isolation, that is a great word to use and a great story to open now, because we women have been in deep isolation for some generations now, which has been a very deep sadness, and I would call it also a trauma to have been so isolated from one another because of the systematic abuse and disempowerment of women over the ages, that we somehow through this abuse have begun to abuse each other. And this has been something that has been passed down from one generation to the next, right? And it's done because of, we know why, because of trauma, like I said, and because of needing to survive, this existential fear. And so this isolation has not allowed, from the way I perceive it and how I have experienced it in hundreds, if not thousands of individual sessions in my healing work, catching up, allowing the feeling to be there, has not allowed the mothers to more deeply embrace the daughters, thereby not allowing the daughters to be the free, alive beings that they are, and that all human beings are, actually.
Yeah.
So it's been something like a clamp under the guise of protection. I need to protect you from this world that's so scary to me. Or I need to see you not be so alive because I don't have and have not had permission to be alive. I don't know what that is. That just scares me. And so this clamping down on the female spirit has come from mother to daughter. And how can a small girl understand that? She can't. For her, it just registers as, I'm not enough. I'm not strong enough. I'm not pretty enough. I'm not anything enough because I don't feel seen. Right? Yeah. And so I see that at this time, this generation we're in, and it's one of the first generations to start really stepping out of those vibrations and to recognize and to acknowledge that pain. This is such a great work. And again, I honor every woman that is stepping into that clearing and stepping into that healing. Thank you so much, and keep going. I know it's hard. Ooh, look, goosebumps. I know it hurts. I know it's hard. We're all in there, and we're all doing this work. So keep going, keep doing it. You will rise from that and feel yourself coming on the other side of it. So that's essentially what we've been working on, we women, I feel. And we have some ways to go.
Yeah. Thank you, Mira. Yes, that really explains, and not only explains, because we need also the mind in these times. It is a very big part, but when you speak, I really feel the resonance of the truth, and I'm sure that women feel it when they listen to your words, because we all have this pain within ourselves. And I can speak from experience that sitting in circles, even in the first time I sat in a circle, I was like, well, all these women, and why shall I be here? And this is a little bit crazy maybe, but just the trust to be there, it opens so much up, and suddenly, it allows the feeling, to feel again.
Feel again. Feel in the moment.
To feel.
We think, feel. Maybe many times during this interview for the next half an hour, whatever we've got there, you will see me slow down, take a pause, to allow the feeling to be, with the thinking, and vice versa. And I do suggest that we allow that to happen more and more. As we think, we slow down a bit and we feel. The thing about the circle work, and this, obviously I want to say this so it is heard and witnessed. I did not grow up in circle work, you see. It came to me in my early 20s. I grew up as any Western person, high school, university, and then where am I? Who am I? These existential questions began to pop in. The thing with circle work is that it's vibrational intelligence when we merely sit in the circle, and our minds are busy because we're not used to that. We are not used to that. And we have all kinds of preconditioned, thoughts from movies and Hollywood and whatsoever. What is this thing? Believe me, I have had those same feelings and sentiments. But what begins to happen when we simply sit in that vibration is a greater intelligence, which is in ourselves, which is in our field, which is in the living nature, because everything in nature creates itself in circles mostly, circles. That intelligence begins to inform us, and our minds begin to relax, and the vibrational intelligence of what we are beyond any conditioning or beyond any identification begins to resonate at a higher and higher vibration. And then in that moment, we feel a deep level of trust, a deep level of belonging, a deep level of synchronizing a vibration with others in that very moment, second in time, and that's why, and I'm sure other facilitators have had this experience. I can, only speak from my experience, but that's why when many women come to my place here, when we have the circle work or other places I may be facilitating, they say, oh, it's like coming home. Yes. And it is like coming home.
It is.
And it doesn't really matter the place you come to. It matters of the vibration that you allow your spirit, soul, mind, body, temple to be in that moment.
Exactly. Yeah. Yes, the feeling of coming home again. So we're talking about the FreieTochter. And we remember in the circle that she has already been here, that we carry her within us. What can you tell us about her story? How did women live, I would say, before, in ancient times?
Yeah. Well, I have some connection to these old stories. I was lucky enough or honored enough to have a great mentor, Germaid Ponge, who has written an amazing book about that. And perhaps we'll put it in the notes after. In English, it's called The Invention of the Gods. And many other amazing books like The Chalice and the Blade and so on and so forth. And beyond all that, I have this instrument that has informed me of many stories which have been unwritten, of course, oral tradition. If we go back 10,000 years, and this is the time when we were, as a human species, as a collective human species, still deeply connected to the earth. Now, every tribe doesn't have to go back 10,000 years. Some can go back 200 years and experience this vibration. It is a vibrational force. We were gatherers and hunters, right? And within these blood-related clans, you had a balance. You had the female solidarity was very strong, of course. Because, number one, we needed to survive together. Number two, we food gathered together, meaning food sharing, that everyone was accounted for and provided for. And we know now that through paleomedicine, paleoanthropology, that women collected 70% of this food source, which gave women an economic foundation in the early clans. We know that there were no hierarchies in these clans. That's a different story. Let's move into the vibration of the female solidarity. And in that place, all the women gathered together. They had a united intention and agreement to go out into nature and to use their wide vision, right? Because we women we have the wide vision. We see the bigger story, while our wonderful men have the hunter. Their vision is like that. So how wonderful when they work together.
Yeah.
What a great vibration when they work together.
Yeah.
Okay. And so the young women, the daughters, the young daughters, the young women, meaning a teenager age, and the mother age, and the auntie age, and the grandmother age, all went together to collect, and everyone had their place. Now, when the young women came into puberty, they would not be sent out of the clan. They would stay with the mothers, because of course they needed their mothers for birth, and they were very valuable, the young ones, because of their ability to collect the food. And so for thousands of years, even after 10,000 years ago, the female were working in this collective, and the daughters were allowed to have their sacred place. I mean, even to use the word allowed is not actually the word to use. That's a contemporary word. Let me back up there. Nature informed us. The intelligence was always shared. So the daughters had their freedom. They had their aliveness. Actually, it was needed. Because if you say free, what does it actually mean when you say free? Free, alive, trusted, seen. All of those vibrations, those words fit into the freedom. What we perceive as freedom is to be natural. Yeah. Just to be as nature intended us to be, right? And so the daughters became strong women through these vibrations, right? And actually we know through different times coming up, the migration of the human species is an incredible one. Indeed, we went all over the planet. However, we know even in Europe, up until the early Middle Ages, the women and the daughters were very free, right? Because they also had freedom of sexuality. And this was brought about through knowing how to work with contraceptions, herbs, to prevent conceiving a child if one did not wish for that at that time, right? And there's a great freedom for women in that, right? So a free daughter means a seen, an honored daughter.
Wonderful, thank you. Yeah, and it makes very clear that free also means if we are free as women, we can fully live our potential. And that's good for all humanity.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. There's so many components go into that sense of freedom, more so than we can imagine. Because these sort of intuitive parts of our information field, let us say, or this great intelligence we have, when it's trusted, this information, they're not on the grid, so to say. Do you understand what I mean? They're not like in the paperwork, Wait a minute, is she actually now accessing that? No. These impulses, and they are like impulses, and then we follow an impulse and we trust, and it brings us to a place that no other person could perceive in that moment, because it's intricately designed for that being, for that you, or for that me, or for that she, right? And that's what's fascinating, and that's a part of something that we have lost, that has been suppressed because what we have stated. There hasn't been enough space. There's been a trauma, takes away space, inner space. Suppression takes away inner space, the freedom inside.
And I can also tell the women to really, I also read the book, and in German it's called Die Erfindung der Götter von Gerhard Bott. And I can also tell you maybe to listen to your words earlier 3-4 times, because it's something that we know, of course, in ourselves, but it maybe for some people it sounds completely new, because it's putting everything on the head again. It's like, oh, we women were free, and we had the sexual choice, and we were, it's something. You said so many very important things that I can really advise just to maybe rewind and listen to it again until you really feel what it is, until it clicks, because it's not just one information. It's really something very, very important to feel. Because
it's great.
All the history books, they don't talk about it, and everything what we've learned is not saying a word about this, what you're just talking about, and that's why it's so important. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So
thank you for saying that. Yeah, rewind it and listen to it again and again.
Yeah.
And allow your stomach and your heart to get involved, and then you will feel the truth in your body, what that is for you.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. Mira, I would like to go to a topic where I know that you can talk a lot about it. You are the daughter of an English mother, and you are a daughter of a Black Indian father. So you're a very good example for what is happening right now on this planet, that our society and our culture is getting more multicultural, more racial. So how is that important? What can you tell us about this topic, being a daughter? What can you tell us about your experience? And what can we learn? Where do we step into looking on this subject?
Yeah, thank you for asking this question. It is a big subject indeed. Where to start with that one? I feel that perhaps I'll start general and end personal. Okay. We are a world of migrants. We are a world of immigrants. We have been immigrating for thousands of years, and we shall continue to. Only now we live with very active borders and administrations. Well, we are actively administrating our borders. I don't mean to be patronizing when I say this, but when you come to a certain vibration, you begin to realize that we are all born on this planet as citizens of one earth, and we are one people. And I know that we now have come to a place where we feel we have a finite resource, not an infinite resource, but a finite resource. What is this planet? But we needn't have that. We need not have that. When we begin to connect again to the planet, we begin to speak and feel more deeply with this planet and with each other. Then we will begin through our value system to realize that actually we have an infinite connection to this planet, and we will find a way when we have the next step of integrity, when we have the next step of realization, and when we have the next step of respect for this planet and one another. And when the ones that feel that they want more, no, another billion, when those types of systems realize that it is no longer responsible for all citizens to act in this manner and turn their ships around, right? And say, now we give from the heart back to this planet that has given us so much. And we begin to nurture this planet and nurture the children and nurture the people. Then we will realize that there is enough for all people on this planet. And there's no need for the scarcity education. And there's no need to work with the weapon of war in such a horrendous manner. We will stop this. And I feel it is possible that we do stop this before it becomes too late. So when we realize that we are a planet of immigrants, and we always have been this, right? And it's only been like 5,000 years ago where we really started to kill each other because of this situation. Like the first mass graves were found on our planet, right? Then we realize that all of our bloodlines have already been intersected, you know, have already been mixed from back to front and left to right and up and down, you know. There's no pure anything. We're all mutts, you know. You just have to go back up here. You're going to figure it out. Okay. So we need to have that in the tank. We need to have this realization.
Yes.
Okay. So if I ask you to hold right there just for one moment and allow me to get something, what my computer needs, which is a little bit more battery power, and then we'll continue. Hold on. Hold that thought. Just meditate on that information for a minute, because I have the next bombshell and it's coming. Ein Moment, bitte. Okay. Here we go. That's very interesting, because what I was speaking about in that moment was that the planet needs this, so to say, battery power, you know. My battery, the power of my, okay, my computer also needs this battery power.
Spirit is talking.
Synchronized moments of the, perhaps we'll have time to speak about how we're moving ever more deeply into the time of synchronicity before we finish the interview. The experience, so we have this experience on the planet that we have been migrating from one continent to the next, to the next, to the next, up until modern times. And the last 200-300 years in this industrial revolution, we found ourselves able to begin to track through technology, through media, who we think we are, right? And how we value that, and the value system that has been giving us worth or unworth for the last 200-300 years. Has a lot to do with what we can do, what we can achieve, what we can build, right? Very, very external, right? And that mixed with a lot of fighting has brought us to this time where we believe so much now in scarcity, right? That anything that comes along what is different, our first reaction due to our programs is, what does it mean? What does it mean? What does it mean? So that's sort of what we have inside of the program that is running. And how and what can we derive from that? We are just beginning to put our finger into this calm body of water where underneath it's been boiling for a few centuries. Seemingly on the top it looks calm. We're calm. Yeah. And promise. I know, so we put our finger in this, and we begin to see, if we take the best case scenario, we begin to see the marvel, the wonders that can happen through this, biodiversity.
Yes.
Through humans. We have great biodiversity on the planet. We need it, or we wouldn't be able to survive. Mm-hmm. So we're beginning to realize how exciting that can be. Mm-hmm. And then we begin to see certain human individuals like myself that are able to balance the perspectives of different worlds in one body. Mm-hmm. And that's something I think can be extremely special. Yeah. And I do consider myself many times like a bridge between different worlds. If you knew my family, and my parents are very lovely, loving people, of course, with their own bits of neurosis, like every other human being on the planet, right? So when I was a little girl growing up in England, with my very white mummy, and me and my brown brother, my father wasn't with us, my father being African-American, Cherokee and Blackfoot Native American mix. Sometimes the English would say to my mom, "Oh, aren't they cute children? Are they adopted?" Because they so weren't used to this experience. Mm-hmm. My mom, being the fiery ones, "No, they're my children. How can you ask such a thing?" And I was a little girl going, "Mummy, what's adopted?" I didn't really. What does it mean? Never mind. And when I came to puberty, I really did feel some sense of loss, some sense of not really understanding where I belonged. Right? Because when I was with my white English family, I felt very akin, and I felt their love. The love was solid, but I saw that I was different somehow. And not only from the outside, also from the inside, I felt different because of this whole other experience. And then when I went to my African-American family in California, I had the same experience. So for a few years there, I was like, okay, who am I? What's going on? I had a very wise, spiritual teacher tell me once, "You were born this way for a reason in this lifetime." Not like this way, like, here I come. Like, it kind of sounded like that. I didn't mean for it to sound like that, but humor is always a great.
Of course it is.
So, and then one day I turned a corner and I got it. I really got it. And that's something I would say to parents out there that have children that are of two, very different cultures and ethnicities. I would suggest, or nieces or nephews, so on and so forth, for them to just open the conversation once in a while. How are you doing? How does it feel? And bring them into the nature, because that's what eventually allowed me to really truly be the bridge that I feel that I am. Is that, I belong to Mother Earth. And all places are alike to me. There's a tree, there's the grass, there's the sky. Yay, I'm home. Yes, me. Yes. So we need each other to be exactly who we are. We need all of these magical differences, because when it comes down to it, we are all the same people. And when issues come up for us, They are from our inside. They are from our programs. They are from our lack. They are from our fear. And you know what? That's okay. It's not that we have to erase these feelings. We all will have them in different situations, right? It's what we do with the feelings. It's how the choices we make from them. Hopefully we can feel them, and it will allow us to become more humble, more compassionate, more understanding, and helpful to our world. Because when we help another, it will enrich our life, but will also enrich the lives of every single person on this planet. And I know for some who reside more in the mind, that might seem like a bit of a reach. You know, what is she talking about? You know, if I do this one thing, it helps every single person on the planet. You know? But what, that's a bit strange, isn't it? But I will say to that. Okay, here we go again with this spiritual gaga goo goo.
I could just say from my point, I was thinking this also in the beginning, but it's really fun to dive deep into it, and it's really worth it. I can just tell, and yeah.
And I would definitely invite that what you say, and I would add to it. What I would add to it is that if we just close our eyes subtly like this, so you only see a little bit at the bottoms here, and then breathe. And then instead of physical objects, you see energy. Okay? Everything's energy. And this is why I love to play in the quantum, because we know that our whole planet is a big ball of energetic resonances that vary, right? And energy can never be destroyed. It is only transferred. We know this also. So let's say you're not the only one doing that little shift in the moment where you look at that wound you have inside and you shift it a bit. Maybe there's 100,000 other people that do the exact same thing.
Yes.
And that creates a force, a wonderful force of consciousness. And when we commit to that, we give others permission. So if sort of a spiritual evaluation of that doesn't work for you, then move right into physics, and it will show you how those two balance together. And have fun.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Have fun with that.
Yeah. Because it is a lot of fun.
It is a lot of fun, yes. It can be. Sometimes it's painful also, and that's also okay. Sometimes we learn through suffering and discomfort.
Yes. Yeah, and that's where I switch back to the topic of mothers and daughters again also, to make a circle to end it.
Nice.
Because we are having the same gender as daughters, as our mothers. So we are both women. And this is our first connection in our life. So this bond is very, very strong. And very often it is the hardest relation we ever have.
Yes, that's also true.
Maybe
the
deepest, and sometimes our mothers are giving us the hardest time ever, but maybe also the most wonderful time, because she gave us our life. She was the portal where we came through on this planet. Just maybe for all the women that are very inspired now by your words, do you have a little tool? Do you have a little something for them in the end, so they can maybe find a little bit peace between mother and daughter, between this relationship, when they say, oh, it's always so exhausting when I'm with my mother. I'm always feeling like a little child. And is there a little tool that you can give them now to step make one step towards this healing.
Yes, yes. First, for the first 10 seconds of this here and now, I would simply be here with you all, and you with me and Germaid. That's it. Separation, love, to feel connected, but also to know that you are not your mother. How to achieve that, right? Since I am a woman of ceremony, then I would give you a task. And this task would be to make a little plate of food, or give something that is precious, like some flowers with some chocolate or anything in this genre, okay? And when you feel calm, centered, you take this little plate of food or your offering, and you go and sit outside by a tree, by a river. And you know, nature is such a grand intelligence, such a grand intelligence. And you sit there with your big intelligence and you say, okay, Mom, I love you. That is so. And that will always be so. Whether I can speak to you or not, whether you're still on the planet or not, you are my mother. And now I choose to lay down this burden, whatever it may be, whether I felt judged or criticized, or simply not held enough or long enough or seen enough. And I now offer this food to this earth for this whole ancestor line from my mothers, because I know they suffered and I know they were working to do the best they could. And I know if they could have done better, they would have. So here you go. That's for you, and I let go of. I make the choice right here and now to begin, and I let go of that resentment or that anger or that sadness, and I allow myself to become more and more the free daughter that I am. And hold your hands open and just be there so open, so naked, so raw for yourself, for your daughters that may come, for your nieces, for all the future generations. And then let it go. Leave it out there in the garden. And then if you can, do a little dance, move your body a bit with the wind or the ethers. That's always a way to get free, is to move. You know, however you move, if you just jiggle your feet or shake your head, just move something. There's no demand. You know, let your body be free, and then you will feel a difference. And if you really want it that much, then give yourself a cycle every day for 2 weeks, or once a week for 1 month, or the next 4 new moons, whatever you decide upon. do it.
Yeah. Wonderful.
Oh, it's been so wonderful to be here with you. I very much enjoyed the vibration that you have co-created here for this free mother and daughter, daughter and mother. And may I say a couple of things before we end, or you tell me what you suggest.
First, I say thank you so much for everything, for your words and your wonderful being. You are exactly the way you are, and be a big piece of the puzzle of peace. Peace.
Yeah.
Oh,
peace.
I just
look at that
right now.
She's synchronizing with us. That's it. We're all a part of this big puzzle of creating peace, and as we find more peace inside, we will create this bigger puzzle of peace on our planet.
Exactly.
Boy, do we need it. So let's all get to work.
Yeah, let's do it. Don't sit on the computer, just go out and do your work. No.
Create that peace. Create that peace. That's our new bumper sticker. Create that peace. And then there'll be a little picture of a puzzle piece. and then there'll be a picture of the earth behind that. Peace. Yeah. Boom, 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 boom. Okay. We're playing now. We've got to play.
We're getting credit.
We've got to play.
May
I blessings.
Please, you're not only a woman of wise words, but you're a woman that is going out and doing things and supporting other women. So please,
that's it.
Just tell us, what are you working on right now? What are you doing?
On the 1st of May, we all be dancing. I did it like you did. May. And 2019 Medicine Woman training will begin. And that is such a big honor to facilitate or co-facilitate with the intelligence of our world and our earth. These women through a 1-year Medicine Woman training. Wow. So that's awesome. And I will be connecting with my sister Yael Deckelbaum and supporting her. I will be working with her on her new CD, Women Unite, as a soul speaker on the CD, and supporting her with her crowdfunding. The CD is made. It is incredible. And there's a video now which we will post around. And hopefully a lot of us will give a little bit of something to support that CD coming out into our world. Women Unite, Yael Deckelbaum. Yes, sister. Blessings. And this is sacred music. This is medicine music, as our sister Germaid knows so much about. She herself is a wonder at creating sacred music. So that's growing, expanding this vibration, which is necessary. And, sorry for one moment. Let me just take this minute. I don't often say the word necessary because I am one that is holding doorways. And I know we always will find a doorway, right? So if I use the word necessary, know that Mira's being very straight and clear. Our planet is in a certain amount of stress. And so for us to really begin to heal that vibration, it is necessary that we have a certain resonance. And I feel women are the answer. Women are the answer. Women can bring that resonance to our planet. And that is why in that moment, I use the word necessary. And music does that so well. So it's an amazing CD with a lot of amazing female artists. And besides the sort of what I would say quasi regular works that I do, I have been invited to travel to Northern California, Southern Oregon area to be an instructor at Spirit Weavers this year. And this is also an amazing platform for women. And it's happening. We are the wave. We are the answer at this moment in time. And so the tip I would give to end here now is that honor your female values. Honor your female values and connect to that deeper sensitivity that what we are as humans that has been covered over for some hundreds of years. Go into that deep sensitivity and honor it and hold it. And with that honoring of sensitivity and that honoring of the feminine way, the female values, we're going to bring, this is something I'm a mother, this is something my sons would say, we'll bring balance to the force. That's what we're looking for. We're looking to bring that beautiful balance to the force. That's what we're doing here. So thank you again, my sister.
Thank you as well, Mira. You are a big part of my journey as well. So, and all the sisters I'm sitting in the circle with that you opened up, since I was also going through the Medicine Woman training.
Medicine Woman training, yes. I was going to wait for you to say it. I wasn't going to say it. But Germaid was, it was an amazing part of the training. And you were 2016er.
16, yeah. And I also had the honor to facilitate for the 2018ers now.
That's it.
Yes.
She came in and sat with the next group. We do that. We call them EOSs, Evolutionary Older Sisters. Come in from the years before. No. But in your wisdom, in your wisdom. I sat in there, and it's just incredible, the synchronicities and the connections and the female solidarity that grows up in these circles. What a blessing.
Yes, and since I experienced it, and I'm walking my path with other women, other men, and being more that free daughter that I am supposed to be, I can only advise or say to all other women that are watching this now to have the courage, because you're doing this for yourself first, but in the end, for all living being. And just have the courage to make one step at a time. It's absolutely worth it. It's your life. And no matter what comes, we are never alone. That's what I've learned. We have sisters, even though, even there are some conflicts, but that doesn't matter. We are, as women, we are always connected. If it's our mothers, if it's our daughters, or just our sisters, or aunties, grandmothers, whatever, we are. This bond is so strong, and we are needed in this world.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Thank you, Mira, for your work.
Oh, bless you. Thank you.
Looking forward.
And thank all of you sisters.
Yeah. Goodbye.
Ciao.
Bye.
See you in the stars, sisters.
Okay.
Ja, hekte.